Mariah Gardner, and this is the pitch event.
I'm Ben Ormsby, and you might be wondering, what is the pitch event? Pitch is Cedarville-style Shark Tank pitching competition for Cedarville students. Cedarville students are able to enter their pitch into the pitch competition and then enter to win an investment.
And what are the prizes, Ben?
The prizes, first place is $1,000, second place is $500, and third place is $200.
So today what we are doing is the pitch pre-show. And we're on a red carpet. We're going to invite some of the contestants up, and we're going to interview them, get to know them better, get to know a little bit about their pitch. And then we're going to invite some of the judges up, so you get to know their strategy on how they're going to judge tonight. So yeah, let's get some of these contestants up. We first have Will, Mark, and Lincoln. Hi guys, welcome. So tonight, we're just going to ask you a little bit about what you do. What are you presenting? Give it to us in like one sentence.
So we have a automatic stovetop fire extinguisher that's made for people who love to do lots of home cooking.
Cool.
How'd you come up with this idea?
So me and my buddy Lincoln were sitting in a Wendy's about 2 years ago, and we were trying to think of a project idea for a high school competition. We were just completely stumped, and all of a sudden it clicked. Automatic stovetop fire extinguisher.
That's really cool. Have you built a prototype yet?
Yeah, so we have a functioning prototype, and it's currently a utility patent pending right now.
That's super cool.
And how are you feeling tonight?
We're feeling good. Honestly, we're ready to go. We're hopeful for that $1,000 prize.
Good, glad to hear it.
Thank you guys so much for coming up. We look forward to seeing you out there.
Where can we find you guys on social media? Do you have a social media website?
Yeah, so we just made an Instagram actually. It's Sentinel Kitchen, no underscore, no numbers.
Super cool. Thank you so much, guys. All right, next up, we'd like to invite our next contestant, Daniel Ormsby. All right, now, so one thing, Daniel and me, we go way back. So we've actually known each other almost our whole childhood. Well, all my childhood and all of Daniel's childhood. And so it's been really great to know Daniel, see him come up with this business. But yeah, Daniel, how are you feeling tonight? And tell us a little bit, like one sentence synopsis of what you're pitching.
Yeah, feeling great, feeling good. Essentially, I'm pitching a waste to value business. So we're turning waste into valuable products.
Cool. How'd you come up with this idea?
Yeah, so I was sitting on a plane about 3 or 4 months ago, and I keep an ideas book, and I was working on a problem that I felt like was important, and it eventually distilled to this. So,
super cool. Now, have you had any industry experience leading up to this, or are you kind of just hopping into it?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for roughly 2 to 3 years now, working in biomanufacturing.
Super cool, super cool.
Daniel, is there any place we can find you online?
Yeah, so check us out at NutrifuelBioworks.com, and yeah, feel free to email me at daniel@NutrifuelBioworks.com as well.
Thank you so much for coming up here, Daniel.
course.
Look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you, Daniel.
Now we need some more contestants to interview, but I'm not seeing any. So you know what? Why don't we tell you a little bit about ourselves? Can you tell us a little bit about what your experience is with the pitch? Have you done anything with it before?
For sure. So fun fact, I actually auditioned for the pitch last spring, but I did not make it. So unfortunate, but full circle moment. We're here now on the back end doing hosting. So yeah, when I did the pitch, even though I didn't make it all the way through, it was still a really good learning experience. I learned a lot about pitching, what you're supposed to say when pitching businesses, what things are good to say. And even since then, I'm confident that if I were to do it again, I have a much better shot. What has been your experience with the pitch, Mariah?
So I have never auditioned, nor have I really pitched an idea. I have an entrepreneurial spirit. But one thing I did do was I organized it last year. I don't know if you remember me from one of the live shows, but yeah, that's my experience with the pitch. I love it. I think you should join if you're thinking about it. This is your cue. And actually, Q reminds me, that's who's hosting this event tonight.
For sure.
Cedarville University Entrepreneurship Club.
So this is our logo right here, and Q, as Mariah mentioned, stands for Cedarville University Entrepreneurship, and it's the student org where students can get plugged in with other like-minded aspiring entrepreneurs, and learn from other entrepreneurs like guest speakers, but then also dig into entrepreneurial book studies through our cohort option as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Standing right next to us is one of our judges for tonight. Let's get up, let's welcome Jim up and see what he has to say. How is he going to judge the contestants tonight? Hey Jim, you want to come up?
Jim, how's it going?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Jim, I'm Mariah, and this is my co-host Ben.
Nice to meet you, Jim.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're just wondering, how are you going to go into tonight? Are you excited? Are you a little bit nervous because we're young college students? How you feel?
No, for me, this is just humbling because I like to learn everywhere I go. and you guys are going to control the world that I have to live in. So I'm excited to be able to contribute some of my lifelong mistakes and learning, and hopefully give some feedback. I love this age group because the minds are just not as polluted and set in their ways as people my age that, you know, get stuck in a routine. So this is fun for me. It's entertainment, it's fun, it's inspiration, and I'm planning on learning something. So
Thank you so much, Jim. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
yeah, sure. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur, which just means I had that box checked in kindergarten that says doesn't work and play well with others. But no, I've been an entrepreneur for most of my career. I've started a couple of companies and exited a couple of companies, but most of what I've centered around now is real estate development, and I also am a co-founder and president of the International Center for Creativity. So we've been partnered with Cedarville to deliver the Industrial and Innovative Design major. We also started the Masters of Innovation, the MBA Concentration in Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and the new Masters of Innovation in Healthcare. So it's really been my passion is creativity and innovation education. 25 years ago when we started that, nobody was talking about it, and now it's a part of the normal business lexicon. So it's exciting to see a lot of people entering the space, and but that's what we do. Yeah.
You've got a lot to offer tonight.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
Jim, what has been the biggest thing you've learned throughout your entrepreneurial career that you think that you wish you knew earlier in life?
If you're doing it the same way everybody else is doing it, you're not really an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody that I think finds unique value, not just a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
That you found something novel to be able to monetize. But some people say it's grit or, you know, hard work. Well, you gotta have grit and hard work to do anything, especially hard labor. You know, like people that work on roads and people that put on roofs and people that do landscaping, they're working a lot harder than any of us are in a desk. So I don't know that it's as much as hard work's just the entry for earning a living. I think what it is self-awareness.
Gotcha.
I think self-awareness is one of the most important things I've learned is to know your limitations.
Yeah.
And if you're not an expert at that, go find one. Don't waste your time at what you're good at when somebody else is better at the thing that you need.
For sure.
Partner up, go find the strategic networks, because you're just kind of wasting your own personal time. That's the entrepreneur's mistake very often, is trying to be omnicompetent, right? Like, well, I can figure out, there's an app for that, or there's software for that. That's not your wheelhouse. Go find somebody that's really good at that and know your limitations, and you'll move faster and you'll move with better quality.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great advice.
Thank you so much for coming up here tonight. We won't keep you any longer.
For sure.
Thanks. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay,
Next
we are
up.
ready. Sorry, go ahead.
Next up, we have our next contestant, which is.
Timmy. Timmy, come on up and tell us a little bit about what you're bringing tonight.
Okay, definitely. Hello, are you holding it? Okay, perfect. She got it covered. I am so excited to be here. I have an embroidery business. I do hand embroidery, and so I'm very excited to be here. It's definitely different. You don't hear a whole lot of people embroidering, so I'm bringing a little bit different stuff to the table and see how it goes. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Timmy, what you've got is so unique tonight, and I've never seen anything like it here on the pitch. Can you tell us how you're feeling about bringing such a new concept to the table?
I definitely was very hesitant at first. It was actually Dr. Overman that convinced me to take the next step and go to the pitch, but I think people will recognize the uniqueness and the specialness of what I do, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Timmy. Ben, you got any questions?
What has been the biggest challenge you've had in your embroidery business so far?
Oh gosh, the biggest challenge. When I first started embroidering, I was very shy getting into the business world and asking people for money, but I've learned that people recognize quality, and just getting over that hurdle and realizing that people want to support small businesses and they want to support businesses like mine, I think is definitely the biggest one.
Yeah, and I heard you have kind of a role model can you tell us who that is, who she is?
I do, yeah, okay, so we're learning a lot about each other tonight. I love Dolly Parton. I'm wearing a Dolly Parton pin right now. I just love her work ethic, and I think it's so hard to come by people of her level of quality today, and so definitely, she's just my favorite person. I love her.
Yeah, well, we are rooting for you tonight. Is there any place where we can find you online?
Yeah, definitely. Check out my Instagram. It's Bluegrass Threads. Just put that in there, and I'm constantly posting different things I'm working on, different places I'm selling in. So,
Thank you so much, Timmy. We won't take up any more of your time.
Thank you
We're
so much,
rooting
Timmy. I see Scott Moffat over there. Scott, do you want to come in meet the pre-show?
Yes. Hi, Scott. Welcome to the pre-show.
Hello, hello, hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you bring to the table tonight?
What I bring to the table. So my name is Scott Moffat. I'm a co-founder with Ideal Strategic Partners. We help entrepreneurs get their ideas off the ground. We invest in them. We partner with them, take equity in the company, mentor them, and then help them launch their business. So really excited. This is my 6th pitch competition. So I love flying up to be in the cornfields with y'all.
For
So
sure.
You're kind of a veteran at the pitch. Can you tell us how you go into it and what you're looking for in these contestants?
Sure. You can tell a lot in the presentation by how much preparation they've done through their presentation. So some of the questions that I ask are things that you would kind of expect that they would go through, and I know that the education that the students receive here is top notch. So it's really a lot of fun. I'm looking for students who are committed, they're following their passion, and they're doing it all to glorify God.
For sure. Thank you so much. Where can people find you on social media, and do you have a website as well?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn, but
We're doubling up.
I'm on LinkedIn. Scott Moffat. My company is idealstrategicpartners.com. We just launched an e-learning course, Idea Path Academy. So the process that we take our partners through is called Idea Path. So that's ideapathacademy.com. But yeah, on LinkedIn, that's probably the best place to find me.
Yeah,
sure.
and I've got to put a little plug in for Scott because I've gotten to know him more on a personal level throughout the years of doing the pitch and getting to know you as you've hosted, or excuse me, as you've judged when I was the host. But he really cares for the students, and it's really good to hear what he has to say because he wants these people to thrive. So yeah, listen to what he has to say out there tonight as he judges these contestants.
It's going to be a good time.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, and we have some of our final contestants. Can we have you guys come up and tell us a little bit about what you do? Okay, can you tell us who you are and what you're presenting tonight?
I'm P, this is G. We're presenting The Experience. Now, The Experience is an entertainment brand because we noticed in media there's not a lot of Christ-centered content that we'd really want to watch. Because, of course, Do Perfect is cool when you're like 12, and sure, it could still be cool now, but it's not cool to us. And we polled 50 people from both on and off campus, and they said that if we proposed the experience and created the experience, they would be willing to watch and engage with us. And that's what we're proposing here.
Okay, it sounds like you guys are ready to pitch. You are ready to propose this idea. So how are you feeling? Are you just excited? Is there some nerves going into this?
There is some nerves going into this. However, turning those into excitement and remembering that we're both passionate about this is really helping both of us get through this.
Is there anything you have to add to this?
Yeah, I think we're just both really excited to be here. We're really excited to present something we're passionate about. This is something we've wanted to do for so long, since we met each other, really. So being able to present it in front of more people than we ever have before is just a huge honor for us.
It sounds like you guys kind of have a background. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you met?
Oh, of course. We actually met by just being paired randomly with room assigned. And since then, we realized we both had a passion for performing and for creating. And we were able to combine those into something where I represent more of the money and financial side, and he represents the creativity side. And we were able to come together and create the experience.
You guys sound like a great pair. Did you have something else to add?
I was just going to say that we both complement each other very well. Our strengths and weaknesses fit together perfectly, so it was just like a match made in heaven for us.
Wow, a match made in heaven. Listen to that, guys. I'm excited to see what you have to offer up there today.
Where can we find you guys on social media?
So we mainly have an Instagram page. We mainly have an Instagram page. It's okay. Our Instagram page is PNG, the letters, PNG_experience.
Okay, we're so rooting for you guys out there, and we hope you do the best ever. We'll see you guys out there. So I think we got through all of the contestants, but we would love to bring up a past contestant. His name is Cooper, and tell us who you are, Cooper. Tell us what you do now that you've already done the pitch, and how the pitch has led you to a change in life.
Yeah, first of all, love the pitch event. It's where I found my employer that I now work for. Really was a pivotal time where I made the connections that I needed, the networking, and I'm just so appreciative of Cedarville and what they're doing here, especially Q. as that has been a huge part of my experience at Cedarville as well. So.
What would be your biggest piece of advice to new people coming on the pitch that would maybe be 2 or 3 behind years where you are now that you wish you'd have known back then?
Yeah, so my first time on the pitch, my first time watching the pitch, I was a freshman, and I was like, there is no way in the world I will ever get on that stage. And it was because I wasn't too keen on public speaking. And so a couple years passed, I had an idea, and what I would say is that when you have an opportunity to make yourself uncomfortable for the potential of an opportunity to grow and improve upon yourself and to meet some amazing people, some people that are in the top of their field, it's worth being uncomfortable and taking the chance. And so I pitched for the first time about 1.5 years ago, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't all that pretty, but I learned so much in the process, made some amazing friendships and connections. And so what I would say is, you don't have to be perfect, but just go for it, take the chance, and pitch your idea.
For sure. Now, what was the business that you pitched, and are you still doing it?
Yeah, so I pitched gloves, business run gloves. It's a running glove for runners in super cold weather, rungloves.com. And so, yes, I am still working on it, still working on the website and creating product iterations. And it's been a huge experience in terms of growing on the practical side of business and entrepreneurial knowledge. And been worth every penny I spent on it, and looking to continue to be more efficient with returning revenue and learning more how to do all the sorts of marketing and market launch and manufacturing network opportunities as well. So it's been great.
For sure. Those are super great insights, Cooper. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so rungloves.com is my website. You guys can check it out. If you want to reach out, there's always there's a little chat button in there. You can leave a message. I'm on social media as well, but I would love to talk to you all.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Cooper.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. You're the best.
Thank you for coming out, Cooper.
Alrighty.
Let's see if we can find anybody else we can pull into the ring. Oh, you know what? We have some entrepreneurs on the sideline here. You can't see them, but there are some pretty awesome people that we would love to be able to get you to plug. We want you guys to be able to support these people who are young entrepreneurs looking to succeed, but just didn't end up pitching this year.
Alrighty, so our first group that's coming over is one of the IBC groups here at Cedarville. So IBC stands for Integrated Business Corps. And the Integrated Business Corps is a program where students can apply, and in the Corps they'll be able to form groups and actually build companies through their Gen Ed business courses like Principles of Marketing, Principles of Finance, and other principal courses. First up, we'd like to invite our first group up from the IBC.
Come on up here. Can you tell us your names and more about your product?
My name is Bruna Davis.
And I'm Emily Skase.
And essentially what we have is an immersive form of coffee. So it's coffee in a brew bag, and then you pour boiling water over top of it, let it steep for 7 to 8 minutes, and then you have a fresh cup of coffee.
For sure, that's super cool. How did you guys come up with this idea?
Yeah. Essentially, we're looking for something that was really simple and convenient for people that are constantly on the go, whether that's college students or people who are just really involved and have a lot going on. So something that's as simple as making a cup of tea, but you get your caffeine through it.
That's super cool.
Do you have anything to add? What is your part in this business?
I do the marketing side of it, and we helped with the design of it and everything, and just getting it, just so that everyone knows about it. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming up here. Is there anything you'd like to tell the audience now that you have their attention?
Well, if you're interested in immersion coffee, you can find us online at immersioncoffeeco.square.site or at our Instagram, which is our handle.
It's immersion coffee as well.
Yeah.
Thank you girls so much for
Thank
coming
you
up
guys.
here. We wish
For
you the
sure.
best of luck in all your business endeavors. Have a good one. So,
Alrighty.
we kind of went through everybody. We
did.
have one more judge. His name is Tuni, and he brings life to
A lot
the
of energy, a lot of energy.
Oh yeah, I actually got to watch him present on what he would want us to think about
For
as
sure.
young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Did you get to listen
I did.
to that
I also
today?
went to too. Tunji was very energetic and very expressive in his communication, which really just energized the whole room.
And he was up there for like 5 hours. He
5
was-
hours straight almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going to be exciting to watch, guys. Really pay attention to what he has to say. This is what he does for a living. He gives people advice and he talks motivation into their life. And he is just like ready to go. He had us clapping, he had us interacting. Man, what a ball of energy.
It was a great experience.
Yeah. Who else can we talk about? We talked a little bit about Scott Moffitt.
Scott Moffitt.
Scott Moffitt is a great mentor, and he's a great person to reach out through. His website, I don't know if he told you what his website is, but it is idealstrategicpartners.com. Look him up.
For sure. Well, maybe can we get Eve down here? She's started a business on her own, actually.
Yes. So you tell us what Eve did, and I'll go grab her.
Alrighty, sounds good. So I think what Mariah means by telling me what I did is regarding the entrepreneurship path I pursued. So this past summer, I had the opportunity to go to Atlas Institute, which is an entrepreneurial academy for young men, in which we read 25 books and write 44 papers studying various entrepreneur fields such as finance, marketing, hospitality, and various other types of info. And so that was really enriching. And then actually, I was able to get my idea for my current business out of it, which is billboard vinyl installation. So that's a little bit about me.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
I actually brought two people up with us. I brought Eve, and I also brought Anastasia. You girls can come on. So they each bring something unique to the entrepreneurship world. Let's start with Eve. We've already kind of introduced you. Give us some personal insight into what your company is and what you do.
Yeah, so I create a custom baking experience for all my customers. So they get to pick whatever mix-ins or flavorings they would want in a cookie and really just make it their own and individualize it.
That's super cool.
And Anastasia, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, so I have a business called Be the Light Lettering, and I sell greeting cards and stickers. And the goal of my brand is to just cultivate a community of encouragement and inspire people to be a light in our world.
We don't want to keep you girls too long. We know you have booths to man, and we don't want anything fishy going on there. So before you leave, could you tell us where can we find you?
The best way to find me is either through Etsy or on my Instagram at Be the Light Lettering 1.
Awesome. And Eve?
You can find me at on Instagram at Eve's Original Sing Cookies.
For sure. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for coming up here, ladies. Have a great night.
Alrighty.
I wish you guys could see this. The crowd is starting to get a little bit thicker. I think tensions are getting high as people want to get in
For
the
sure.
doors and watch the free show. Another thing that you can't see that people have been fighting to get through to get here today is like a storm.
A storm. So it's actually the remnants of a hurricane from Florida that hit like yesterday or the day before. But we've getting pelted with rain. We're actually in a drought for probably 6 weeks here. And this rain is much needed.
Yes, it is. And Florida was being hit by the hurricane, like you mentioned. Scott's from Florida, so we are glad we got to keep him from the storm.
That's right. That's right.
All right. What else? Who else can we talk to? Or talk about? Do you remember any of the past pitch contestants?
Pitch contestants from like last year?
Yeah.
I remember there was Willem. Willem pitched like a software thing for guitar straps. So basically, in the guitar and music gig world, sometimes you have to switch between tracks. So it's basically a switchboard that you can put on your guitar strap. So that's one that I remember was really cool as well.
Yeah, and there was Will also. And were you talking about Will Woods?
Willem. So
okay, there was
yeah.
Willem, and then there was a Will Woods last
Yeah.
year too. And Will Woods is actually the president of Q this year. He is highly involved in everything. He set up the pre-show for us tonight. We love Will. He does a lot.
Will's a
for
great
us.
guy. Great leader as well.
Yes. And he pitched last year as well, which is why I brought him up.
Yeah.
Do you
so
remember what he pitched?
He pitched like a software or a website that can connect women in need or women in crisis, specifically pregnancy crises, so that they can get connected with biblical counseling for their specific situation.
Yeah, and that's something I really love about Cedarville. I've noticed that a lot of the people who pitch here actually have some philanthropic ideas and just wants for the community. As Christians, we're called to love other people in suffering and love them through their pain and cry with them. And another guy that I got to personally know throughout my years at college was Timmy. Timmy, the year that I did the pitch and was highly involved with it, he came up and he presented a pillow for people who had some either like breast implants or some kind of issue with that. And he is still working on that with his mother who suffered from breast cancer, and that was like a huge saving grace for so many women. I'm so glad that he got to come and present his idea and his passion for people hurting.
For sure. Like Mariah said, there's so many great opportunities that Cedarville students have to make an impact through their talents.
Yes, and not only only that, but through Christ. And that is something that we really want to promote here tonight, is how our relationship with Christ affects each one of those presentations up there tonight. And we might not speak about Christ a lot, but I know that he is the driving force here at Cedarville and puts the heart behind a lot of these students. And I know for me, I have such an entrepreneurial spirit, working on businesses of my own, not to be released yet, but a lot of it is because I know that the Lord is calling me into that, and I want to serve him and I want to serve other people.
For sure. Thanks so much for sharing, Mariah. What has been something that you've learned along your time at Cedarville that maybe you wish you knew a little earlier?
Something I wish I knew earlier is to just get started. I wish if freshman year I would have just started planning something or doing something that I could have been finishing up here. Like just starting a business, even if it wasn't successful, it gives you so much. What's the word I'm looking for? It gives you a lot to think about, and it helps you learn so much. And Ben, you are a sophomore here now.
I am a sophomore, yeah.
What is something you learned your freshman year or something that you took away that you really love about Cedarville?
Something I really love about Cedarville is all the opportunities to grow your leadership skills and just get involved. On campus, like tonight, we have the pitch going on, but there's also a sophomore class event as well that's hosted by class council. So this is like 6 weeks, 7 weeks into this semester, and there's still 2 things on a weekend going on. It's just super cool. So things like that to get involved in, just the level of high quality people are at Cedar as well.
Yeah, and if, as a senior here at Cedarville, I just want to shed some, give some advice. When you are thinking about what to get involved in, I know personally I love to get involved. It was never an issue for me to say yes, yes, yes to everything. And last year, I want to say I loved everything that I did, but I also burnt out. And we are called to rest. We are called to rest at least once a week. And that is something that's good to remember, especially as we're in a community of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs tend to go, 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 and then they get burned out.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to speak to that?
Yeah, so this summer I actually was able, through my internship like I mentioned before, we were able to study like the theology of work, specifically around entrepreneurship. And we read a book by Tim Keller called Every Good Endeavor, and it spoke on this topic about rest rhythms and how your work should be unto the Lord. And it was a really good book for me to learn like biblical rest, and then also what does that look like inside of a business. And yeah, through the summer I was able to learn like good restful habits and like how to create restful rhythms into your life.
Did you hear that, guys? Rest is important, especially you college students watching out there tonight. Wow. I'm just like looking out at the rain. It looks intense out there. People are like running to the doors.
Yeah, I wish we could pan the camera, guys, but we got a fixed tripod.
Who else is out here tonight?
Alrighty, I think it's 5:45 and the doors are opening.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the pre-show tonight. We're gonna close up and let you enjoy the pitch. Get excited, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fall Pitch 2024 in our lovely new business building, Scharenberg. My name is Aubrey Colburn, and I am honored to host this event for you tonight. And we have a wonderful lineup tonight, folks. 4 pitches, 7 pitchers. These people have formulated and researched and refined their pitches, all for 5 minutes of pitching and 5 minutes of judge questions to prove that they know not only their product or service, but the feasibility. Can it even work? I am honored to introduce to you an incredible judge panel. Once I grab my notes. New building, folks. Definitely a bit of a learning curve. Our first judge has worked with us before, generously giving his time to our Cedarville University Entrepreneurship Camp. Some of you have had the pleasure of meeting him and hearing him speak today already. He has a plethora of passions, from teaching to health consulting, and currently is a holistic health practitioner for the Ruggedly Handsome Young Man's Establishment. He is also a consultant and curriculum creator, and he founded Rhyme LLC, a holistic health company. He has been passionate about speaking his whole life, starting as a kid and speaking on motivational quotes and lessons that were close to his heart. He still loves doing so today. Please help me welcome to the stage, Tuni, the most blessed man alive, Adebayo. Wonderful. Next, we have Jim Stevenson. He graduated from Ohio State University and has earned certificates in creative thinking from the Imperial College of London and in entrepreneurship strategy from HEC Paris. He has led marketing and innovation teams for Honda, P&G, MTV, and more. He also co-founded with Tom Balliet a global product launch firm that serviced professional motorsports teams and drivers in NASCAR. They sold and exited the company in the early 2000s before co-founding the International Center for Creativity. The IIC proposed the Industrial and Innovative Design major to Cedarville University, and it's ranked 5th in the nation. The partnership also launched the MA in Innovation and Healthcare Innovation and the Innovation and Entrepreneurship concentration in Cedarville's MBA. Put your hands together for Jim Stevenson. And finally, we are honored to have Scott Moffett back as a pitch judge. He has a passion for helping others succeed. He has a multitude of experience, including serving as the Vice President for Garden State Securities, financial advising for Merrill Lynch, was Senior Director of Acquisitions for TowerPoint Capital, acted as the Director of Idea Pros, and co-founded Kingdom Commerce Media and Ideal Strategic Partners. His years of experience in launching new products and applications have provided him with a keen insight as to the main factors that determine new business success. Past competitors of the pitch have found this to be true and have carried his wisdom as they continue to develop their products to this day. Please help me welcome to the stage Scott Moffett. They are absolutely incredible, and I'm sure you'll find that you'll agree after you listen to the feedback they have for our contestants tonight. Speaking of, let's get to our first. First, we have a dual major mechanical engineering and molecular biology major. Between these two majors and his job at Renova, he somehow found the time to dream up this incredible service that could change clean energy as we know it. Please help me welcome to the stage, Daniel Ormsby.
Thank you. So today I'll be presenting on Nutrifuel Bioworks. So currently the U.S. power grid is being stretched by electric vehicles, data centers, and industrial manufacturing. Additionally, expanding urban centers stress current waste management facilities, and biology has unlocked non-traditional feedstocks for use in product manufacturing. The solution to these problems and to take advantage of these opportunities is to convert waste into energy and valuable products using biotechnology. Hello, my name is Daniel Ormsby, and I founded Nutrifuel Bioworks to take advantage of this opportunity and solve these problems. So why Nutrifuel Bioworks and why now? Well, the government has allocated $10.7 billion a year for green energy and industrial R&D. This includes programs in DARPA, the Department of Defense, and the Department of Energy, which all individually and uniquely incentivize new solutions using biology for chemical, medical, and energy problems. Furthermore, waste to energy and waste to value solutions will be industry standard in 5 to 10 years. The markets in these regions are unconsolidated and unorganized. And finally, our solution uses industrialized technology that has been commercialized for over 10 years. So the market we plan to address is the waste management and biogas markets for the United States. This market totals $205 billion. The service available market for our platform represents these markets within the Midwest, with totaling $37.9 billion. The service obtainable market for our platform represents 1% of the Ohio biogas and waste management platform, with $46.6 million of yearly revenue at stake. Our competitors are threefold. First, we compete with waste processing companies. Think of the big green dumpsters that process trash here on campus, waste management. These are recyclers, incinerators, and landfills. Second, we compete with bioenergy companies. These companies turn waste or food waste into energy. Think of a farmer turning manure into valuable energy for his farm. Third, we compete with bioproducts companies. These companies turn waste or other inputs into valuable bioproducts, such as bioplastics, nutraceuticals, or other agricultural products. So what products do we provide? Well, we provide renewable natural gas, power, heat, organic fertilizer, animal bedding, as well as biodegradable gardening pots, also providing services in waste processing and CDMO. What's a CDMO? A contract development and manufacturing organization is the definition of a CDMO. Fundamentally, it's a company who contracts with another company to provide a solution for their problems. Market validation. Well, several companies operate independently in segments of our business model. However, we are formulating these different segments into one solution and one platform, capitalizing on economies of scale and network effects, delivering a premium product from diverted feedstocks. So our business model is fundamentally a platform one. We transform waste into intermediate chemicals using biomethane digestion. This also produces utilities and agricultural products as intermediate products. These intermediate products are then fed into microbe cultivation, which produces even more valuable products after further processing. These products are nutraceuticals, agricultural products, biofuels, and even more valuable medicines. Our platform services waste producers, farmers, and bioproducts companies. So our go-to-market strategy as a business-to-business platform company is contingent on relationships. These relationships are twofold. First, with waste aggregators, our back-end customers who we process waste for. Second, we are building relationships with bioproducts and agricultural companies whom we are planning on selling our products to. Our financials. We project a $70 million capital expense with a $4 million a year operating expense, producing a $14 million a year revenue. This culminates in 18% of internal rate of return, paying off the initial investment in 7 years. Furthermore, initial phases of investment do not fully account for our initial product offering, with further phases of investment taking similar amounts of funds with producing higher returns. So planning and development for our initial construction will take 1 to 2 years, with construction of our initial facility taking 1 to 2 years off top of that. Full-scale production will take 1 to 2 years after facility completion, with front-end R&D, pilot-scale biorefinery construction and production, as well as full-scale biorefinery production and construction, taking 11 to 18 years in total. Thank you so much for this opportunity to pitch to you. I understand this may be considered an opportunity too grandiose for a person of my age. However, I've spent 2 years in industry, and I've taken interviews with multiple industry professionals and done months of research. I believe this opportunity and this platform has incredible potential, incredible adaptability, and the potential for real community impact in the marketplace. So thank you again for this opportunity. Please feel free to check us out at nutrifieldbioworks.com to check us out what makes us tick, how we do what we do, and our mission. Also feel free to email me at daniel@nutrifieldbioworks.com. Thank you.
Hello? Daniel! Woo!
Oh, thank you.
So, and I'm excited. I was the AP environmental science teacher, like in Los Angeles. So this hits on a personal level, especially from the science perspective and the understanding of where you're coming from and the utility of it. So the research shows.
Thank you.
The number, the profoundness. I feel like I'm sitting in a seminar where it's like, this is something that already exists. So that's powerful. So can we give Daniel 5 claps on 3 for me, please? So I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and you'll count out in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 while you clap so it's smooth. Right, we're not gonna give Daniel raggedy claps. Okay. 5 claps on 3 for Daniel, 5 claps on 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And real quick, because I know I'm probably already short on time, what I would leverage for you is slowing down and putting the ethos, the emotion into it. Like, why should people care? Mm-hmm. And there's so much in the environment to pull from in the story piece. Mm-hmm. And I know you're trying to leverage the science and the numbers and everything that matters, but how you get people is how it actually affects them. Mm-hmm. Right? So when everybody in this room has a connection point of, no, this matters. I think that is really a next level where the pitch would have just no holes. Mm-hmm. Great job, though.
Thank you.
You can take a big, deep breath. Yeah. I want to echo a couple of the comments in that slow down, and I know it's because you had the amount of time that you had to do it. The scope of what you covered was really impressive. What I would say constructively on it, some of those numbers are big and abstract, right? When you start talking about billions and trillions and millions, it's really easy, especially for us math deficient brains like mine, to get lost really quickly in the human side of this. What does this impact in day-to-day life? How does this impact somebody that's trying to pay a utility bill? How does this impact somebody that's working in a utility? Those types of things. So I have a really complicated question for you.
That's okay.
So the University of Connecticut did a biodiesel project a couple of years ago where they were actually able to take, instead of the clean grease, they were able to use the not clean grease and make biodiesel. They received a very large check from ExxonMobil to not launch their technology.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Would I take a large check to not launch this product?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I believe this platform can fundamentally change the way we live. And I don't just say that because I believe in cliches and I'm a visionary, whatever. I actually do believe that. And the reason I believe that is because when you read the research and you read about fuel, oil, and grease feedstocks, that's what you're talking about, fuel, oil, and grease feedstocks. Yep. Those feedstocks are not commercially viable using any process that I've researched. However, what we do that's different than those fuel, oil, and grease feedstocks, and the reason that ExxonMobil paid them off was obviously to cut the competition, but what we're addressing is we're integrating into the system an industry that they've already built. We're selling the renewable natural gas to them because they have quotas enforced by the Department of Energy and the Environmental Protection Agency. And so we're selling them that because they have to meet a 10%, 20% quota for their energy bills or their renewable or their natural gas quotas. And so we're really integrating into them on that side, as well as we're also producing non-commoditized products integrated with this process. And that's really where the outsized impact comes from, is because we're integrating this process using one feedstock to make multiple products, commercializing many products that might not be commercially viable within and of themselves.
Start with that, because you just hooked me on that, right? Right, that's your value proposition right there. And that's where I think I would love to see you start when you pitch this next. Love your name, by the way. That's so believable. It fits the branding, really well done. And thanks for doing getting down deep in the numbers and wallowing around down in tough research, and it gives you lots of credibility.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
You ever know somebody that just being around them, you feel smarter? You know, Daniel's one of those people for me, and well done, really well done. It's very obvious how much time and effort you put into this and the passion behind it. I was really hoping your answer was going to be no to taking that check. If you would have said yes, I would have been disappointed, frankly. Just a quick question for you. From my understanding, correct me if I'm misunderstanding, what you're doing is basically taking multiple different services that companies are doing, one of each, and you're combining those into a platform. So it doesn't sound like, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, there's anything truly proprietary to what you're doing. So what's to stop one of these companies that's successful in one of those areas to adding the other two services, and they already have much deeper pockets? They don't have to raise $70 million. They don't need a facility. Yeah. What's to stop them from kind of stepping on your throat with this?
Yeah, so fundamentally, you know that I presented that these markets are really large, right? And these companies are also equivalently large to that number, right? They're $1 billion, they're millions of multi-millions of dollars, they hire lots of people. Fundamentally, these small problems and kind of systematic ways of thinking aren't traditional in our marketplace. So I've really spent a lot of time training myself on how to think systematically and solve large problems with simple solutions. And the reason I say that is because most people are not trained to think that way in college. That's just not how it works, especially in the life sciences. It's very regurgitory, and you're just supposed to memorize things and spit it out. So the reason I say that is that those are the types of people who work in these companies, and they're not thinking this big picture. And I don't say that to like pat myself on the back or whatever. They're just not. That's just not the world we live in. And so fundamentally what we're trying to do to not, because that's a real risk, right? You address a real risk. They're not commercializing this technology because the technology, for this to be really, really, really juicy, it's got to be like 5 years from now, right? Like it's going to get really juicy in like 5 to 10 years, and everyone's going to be jumping on this. But right now, it's hard. The pipeline is not clear. the product is not clear, the valuable proposition is not incredibly clear to a lot of people yet. And to do this, it also takes $70 million, right? So you have to know people, you have to have the connections. And that sauce is not really distilled yet. So I really foresee in 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be a lot of companies doing this. There's gonna be a lot of companies jumping on this, but I really feel like I've beaten the curve because I have that industry background. I've taken that time to do the research and do the systematic thinking for it.
Good answer. Well done.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mariah Gardner, and I was out there at the pre-show today, if you saw me, along with Ben. I'm here to tell you a little bit about Q, the people who put on this event today. Q is the Cedarville University Entrepreneurship Club. We would love to see any of you guys out there who would love to be a part of any kind of entrepreneurial endeavor in life. If you want to do that, we're a great place to start. We bring in speakers every other week, and on the off weeks, we do things to help you think through how you would start a business. So if that interests you and you want to learn from really intelligent people in the business world, I encourage you to come visit our club at 7 p.m. every Wednesday night right here in the business building.
Thank you so much, Mariah. I've been in Q for the past couple years, and it's been really beneficial as well for my entrepreneurship journey. But next up, we're going to talk about the Impact Conference. So the Impact Conference is a business conference that Cedarville is putting on for pastors, business leaders, and other Christian business professionals. And we're going to talk about, and talks are going to be geared around how you can have an impact in your work and your profession for the gospel. So as you can see here, there's going to be some pretty awesome speakers. And yeah, it's October 25th through 26th, and you can learn more at cedarville.edu/impact.
Another event we want to talk to you tonight is Q Camp. It's geared towards high schoolers to kind of help teach them a little bit about entrepreneurship and kind of the community we have here at Cedarville. So if you know a high schooler, please scan the QR code and send them that link. And if you're a Cedarville student and would like to be a counselor for that camp, even if you're not a business student, we'd love to have you. So please contact either me, Libby Greenbaum, or Dr. Carrie Oberbrunner to be a counselor. Thank you.
And so I would like to invite him up to talk to you for a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we have Tuni.
Do I need the mic for the live stream to hear me? I do need it. Yes, because I'm quick to throw down a mic. So I'll go with the story instead. Why I'm so excited about the camp, why I was so engaged in the camp, because as soon as I walked into the room, I got to experience something that I didn't know I would. Because from 4th grade till sophomore year of college, I was going to be a dentist. Like, entrepreneurship was not in my purview at all. I took a test in 4th grade that said, what would you be good at when you grew up? They're like, dentistry. I'm like, I have a nice smile. They pay nice. My Nigerian parents want a dentist. Check, check, check. Let's run it. And then I got to college, and it was sophomore year, and I got an opportunity in a random moment, a random club where we were the ambassadors to the school, and I got to share something I was passionate about. And I realized I wanted to be a speaker. And then my whole life changed into, okay, how do I actually get there, the skills? Fast forward, how do I want to do this? What I would rather do, in fact, rather than tell you that story, I'd rather show you the soft skills you can learn at the camp. Because I got my first opportunity into entrepreneurship because of a handshake. I've told this story before. I walked in, and could you come in, please? Thank you. So I walked in to, and I only have 3 minutes, so we'll cook this quickly. I walked in to get the job at the gym. I played football and wrestling in high school, and I thought I was going to the NFL. I wasn't that good. But we had to do 4 years of weightlifting just to play football. So when I graduated, got to college, I went to the gym to just get a job because I needed money, and I'm used to being in the gym. I walked in. I shook hands, and he was a lot bigger than me. Like, so yeah, exactly, except like about 100 more pounds of muscle, because this guy was like 290. So it's still looking up to him. And he started to squeeze my hand, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And I squeezed back. When somebody's squeezing your hand like that, what are they trying to assert? Dominance. What should you do? Squeeze back. No, I needed a job. I squeezed back a little bit softer than him. I still had a firm handshake. But this is what it looked like. How you doing, sir? What's your name?
Dr. Entrepreneur.
Dr. Entrepreneur, Tunji Adebayo, pleasure to meet you. That was the whole experience. Can we give him 5 crisp claps on 3? Be patient. 5 claps on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Have a seat for me, please, sir. Thank you, Dr. Entrepreneur. At the end of the interview, he said, the way you shook my hand, as long as you didn't say anything dumb, the job was yours. The way you shook my hand. And that's when I started calling myself the most blessed man alive. I left there like, God loves me. You can't tell me much. It took me like 2 years to figure out, even though he was so huge, that was his first day on the job. First day being manager, he felt anxious. He was trying to assert dominance. And because I didn't make it a competition, I squeezed just a little bit softer than him. He wanted to feel dominant, and without realizing it, I let him feel dominant. And now for my entire career, when I was a teacher, when I've been a nutritionist, when I worked in clinical research, entrepreneurship for me has been part-time as well, because I had this certification that gave me breathing room in life. We find that a lot of adults wake up and doing the job they hate for people they love, right? And there's a pride to that. But it's something else to get up and get to love what you do. Have the flexibility of time and money, and it blesses your community. And you have to move a certain way to do it. So something simple as handshakes can transform your life when you do it in the way of an entrepreneur, when you do it in a way to connect with people. And what's powerful of the Q Camp is you learn these details that you may never get anywhere else. So come and get what you may never get anywhere else. That is my time.
Isn't he amazing, everybody? That is why we do what we do. That's why we have the pitch. It's why we have this incredible panel of gentlemen here who are all even more passionate about entrepreneurship than we are. And it is with that entrepreneurial spirit that we welcome our next pitch. Our next team is a dynamic duo consisting of Andrew Garland, who is pursuing a bachelor's in economics and finance and a BA in global business. Not only that, but he is a DJ at Resound Radio and the junior representative for 1,000 Days Past. Joining him is his co-founder, Noah Gregg, who is pursuing a BA in broadcasting, digital media, and journalism. He works with Andrew as the music director at Resound Radio, and he is passionate about expressing creativity through projects. And it is that creativity and passion that we'll see in the next pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Garland and Noah Gregg.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noah Gregg, also known as G, and this is Andrew Garland, also known as P. We are The Experience. As mentioned before, obviously, Andrew is the financial and business director for our team, as well as an international junior triple major with those points as part of Resound Radio. I'm Noah Gregg. I am the creative director for our team, a junior broadcasting, digital media, and journalism major who is passionate about the creativity part of our group. And our mission statement is to show Christ's love one experience at a time. That's what we're truly passionate about at The Experience. So what would The Experience solve? The problem we've seen in the past is that there's a lot of digital media, but not a lot of it is Christ-centered, and that's what we want to see more of in the world. So that's exactly what we're hoping to do. We have a lot of ways we do this. We can target people through Instagram and YouTube, which we're already doing. We'd like to create more partnerships in the future to help us reach a wider audience and do more projects like Man on the Street interviews to just get the word out to other people. So is The Experience unique? We would say yes, because we are, first of all, guided by faith in Christ. That's where we get our passion from. And we are for college students. That's our main audience we're hoping to reach. And as college students, we feel we could do that better than most other people could. and we're committed to pouring back into our community. We also have chemistry. We've been roommates since we first got here, so we've clicked since we first met. We've been able to utilize our differences well. We have strengths and weaknesses that complement each other really well, and we offer a different perspective. So what does the experience include? It's an entertainment brand. We have a bunch of different things. Online personalities is what we would consider ourselves, but we do music, podcasts, we have a radio show, or we're going to in the future, hopefully. Instagram page, we have merchandise we just launched, YouTube that we just launched, and interviews that we're hoping to do in the future.
Now, moving on to the financial side of things, this is where I come into the picture. Now, our market competition and size can be seen here. The market we'd be trying to tackle would be the global influencer market. There's about 21.1 billion US dollars globally in this market, and that's what we'd like to target. Our competitions would be other brands such as clothing, music, podcasts, etc., other large influencers such as Mr. Beast, Markiplier, as well as other Christian influencers. First two that came to my mind, Dude Perfect and Paul and Morgan. Of course, there's many more. Those are the first two that came to my mind. We have a couple competitive advantages here. First, we have direct contact with our main audience. You. We live with y'all. We also have a quality of staff. We have one sitting right there. He's our film man. He helps us greatly. And we represent creativity as well as the business side of things. And finally, we have that unique chemistry and personality that G touched on. Now, this is our business model canvas. I highlighted a couple things that I'd like to point out. First, our key partnership right now, Resound Radio. That lets us keep costs low because we have access to equipment that we would initially have to invest in. Of course, moving into low costs, and then our main target audience being college students. Now, going down to our cost structure, two main things would run pretty much our bills up would be technology and marketing. Currently, we have not invested anything in technology because we have not had that need to because of our primary partnership. We have invested in marketing, and our revenue sources, our two main ones, are merchandise sales as well as sponsorships. Now, this is a financial projection module that I created. The numbers are very low. Because I wanted to highlight the shape of the graph as opposed to the income. Now, as you can see, as with any starting business, the orange is the cost, the blues are the total. Initial costs, they're going to be large. This is, of course, every single column represents 6 months at a time, and this is for 5 years going forward. Now, starting off after that first month, income would start to outweigh the costs, and even on that number 4, you can see that a significant dent in that income would not outweigh or a significant dent in that income would not cause us to go below 50% at that point in time. Now, the two P's that we came up with are plans and proof. First, our plans. We have planned 2 Halloween specials, one with Resound Radio and the other as an experience exclusive. These are 2 separate little things that we plan on doing, 2 very different things, one for Resound. It's not going to be the same one for the Experience YouTube channel. We also plan on making new music, a flagship podcast and radio show, as well as doing interviews with people of interest. Now, the proof that we're able to do this, Noah and I have been creating music together for about a year. We have publicity, as can be seen by these people, wonderful people sitting right here in the We Love the Experience t-shirts that they asked for. They asked for these. We also have a very active Instagram that they should have QR codes for because a couple of them asked me for QR codes, and we utilize the limited means that we have in a way that we feel is effective. Now, we asked 50 people, both on and off campus, would you follow the experience? Because after we leave Cedarville, we really want to know if we actually have a business model. And these are the 6 responses that I want to highlight. My favorite one is that very bold one right there. I love the experience. I love that one. That was my personal favorite to do. Another one of my favorites is that one by Shane S. You guys are unique, and I appreciate that. Of course I would. Now, Noah will be talking about this part.
So in the future, what do we want to invest money in the most? Mainly software and hardware, because that's what can help us to make our content. FL Studio, which is a music creation software which can help us create better quality music than we already do. A camera, Canon EOS R10, that's just an example. That's not necessarily the one we would for sure get, but some type of higher quality camera as well as a higher quality microphone that we would own. As Andrew mentioned earlier on, we get a lot of our equipment right now through some of our partnerships, but once we leave Cedarville, we'd love to have our own equipment to continue to make our products at the highest quality we can. Thank you all.
Hello, hello. All right, we're rocking. Great energy, guys. I've got some questions for you, so I'll try to keep it quick. Your revenue model, the first 6 months you're showing revenue, where's that coming from?
The first 6 months, we would have less revenue than we would actual expenses, simply because of the sunk cost that would be invested.
Right, but I saw some, where was that, the revenue that you're showing?
Merchandise and sponsorships, those two. Okay. Yes, sir.
And then roadmap. So you talked about a podcast, you talked about music, you talked
Yes,
about
sir.
merch. I mean, a lot of different things going on. What is your roadmap? Can you define that for me?
So our roadmap would start off with the very basic things that we currently have. First thing, merch and Instagram, two main focuses right now. YouTube channel will come after the pitch. Our cameraman has actually been filming a lot of this for us, so that'll be probably our first video on there. And then after that, it would follow with music and then so on and so forth from there.
What type of following do you have right now?
So currently we have a very small following, about 20, 30 people so far.
Okay, I would just encourage you to look at the revenue model, because the merch side of it, you kind of got to establish the brand for the merch to really have value. So as you're starting to look at that, that roadmap, and your costs, I like that. It seems like you're bootstrapping. I like that, but understand, where you're going, use of funds, what you would need, and then as you scale, I saw I think it's probably end of year two is the fourth quadrant, I think.
Yes,
you
sir.
make another investment in the business. I can see that, because there's, your expenses go up a little bit.
Yes.
So it seems like you've done a little bit there, and I know you have 5 minutes, so limited time. I like it. It's a lot of competition. It's based on the two of you and your personalities, which you definitely have great personalities, and I enjoy it. But try to find something that's even more unique, that would be that staple. I would say P&G, but there's already a pretty decent-sized company that goes by P&G. So
The main thing behind that would be the experience. It's just the experience with us.
great job.
All right, well, that was fun. Appreciate your passion, and you've exercised something that I firmly believe in, which is first who and then what. Because chemistry cannot be recreated, it can't be bought. Either you have it or you don't, and you two blokes have it. Now, with that, the who I think you have. The what I'm not real sure about yet, right? Because I think there's maybe too much too soon. So I would say own one channel. Have a channel that you dominate, whatever that is. And I think you're both vision guys, which means you need a German with a clipboard as a friend. So you need somebody that is not the finger painter in the air, that is not passionate about creative content creation and all that, that will come in and hold you guys accountable to say, hey, guess what? We have no money. And here's how we're going to get money. And here's how we're going to spend money. That would be a very valuable relationship for you to add to what you guys have in your chemistry. Maybe you already have some of that. So to me, I think I'm looking at it that you possess some of the intangibles, which is really valuable. So I think you have a rough, fun, amorphous, kind of ambiguous brand. And that's fun, because how often can you look at an internet brand and go, oh, that makes sense? A lot of those examples that you gave, who in the world would think that they became as popular as they did, right? So fortunately, you have a lot of models and you have a lot of free platforms to take advantage of, but I would say own one. Own one and then move on. But thanks for doing something really tough, which is to get up in front of your peers and talk about creativity and ideas. That takes guts. So congratulations for that.
Yes, sir. So, gentlemen, I love the shirts, right? I love the community piece, just that idea of, okay, it's not just us, right? This is an idea that just happened 5 minutes ago. And like you say, your highest leverage point for me is that passion piece. The fact of a lot of people's idea, these are abstract. I'm going to. You're speaking to the fact of we have this relationship. What I would say is, since social media is such a big piece about numbers and being able to leverage numbers, what you would have to leverage is the passion in the sense of not the numbers, but how you've impacted people's lives. So not necessarily just the I love this, but when you're leveraging your relationship, you can't necessarily tell me, show me. So I was really sitting over here waiting for a piece of content, waiting for a conversation, waiting for a podcast clip like something where you show us what we would feel. Where somebody in the audience is like, nah, I want to see that on my timeline. I want to make that happen. But what my mind went to, especially with the financial piece and kind of like the gaps and where I wouldn't understand like how this is a business, it felt like it'd be a great nonprofit, right? Where I get donors and I don't necessarily need all the money and it's really Christ-centered and it didn't even seem like constant revenue was necessary, right? I didn't see where that need for we need to make all this money to do this. It almost felt like give us the money now so we can buy these cameras and get to what we want to do. That's what it felt like. So if I want this to be a business, as he said, you need somebody to flush that, or you need to sit down and flush that out more so I understand, okay, this is the revenue that needs to be made, this is why, and this is why it's going to flourish moving forward. But great job, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We love that fun entrepreneurial spirit. Wonderful. Libby, get on up here. Libby represents Q, who are hosting this event. They're so honored that everybody was able to make it, donate their time that they could be spending in a lovely hurricane right now just to be here. So we wanted to give something back. Who wants a t-shirt? Underhand. Back row? Not back row. Listen, there's a reason I'm not in sports, all right, gang? That one's right for the stairs. Oh. You know, one year somebody threw it on somebody's head. Consider yourselves lucky, all right?
One more each?
One more each. Hands way up high, y'all. All right, Felipe, this one's for you, man. No, it's not. Thank you, Libby. Give it up for Libby, everybody. Thank goodness she has a better throwing arm than I do. I'll tell you what. All right, folks, and that is on to our next pitcher. We just enjoyed a duo, but now we're going to enjoy a team of 3 individuals working together to change kitchen safety forever. First, we have Mark Veselich, who is a freshman accounting major. It's already impressive to get up here in front of all these people, but as a freshman. Joining him is William Johnson, a sophomore dual major in fire science and EMS technology. And finally, we have Lincoln Hennell, who controls engineering in the automation agency. Welcome them up, everybody.
Good evening. My name is Mark Vucelich, and I'm a freshman accounting major.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lincoln Hennell, and I'm a co-founder of the Sentinel as well as a controls engineer in the automation industry.
Good evening. My name is William Johnson, co-founder of the Sentinel, and I'm currently a firefighter and an emergency medical technician. There's a lot going on here. I mean, this thing, she's got 3 arms. This is pretty scary. But let me tell you, we have a much bigger and scarier problem on our hands. According to the National Fire Protection Association, or the NFPA, cooking causes an average of over 158,000 reported home structure fires in the U.S. These fires cause over 170 civilian deaths and 4,150 civilian injuries. These fires also cause over $444 million in property loss. A fire starts out as what we call an incontents fire, so something like your pot or pan on fire. These can go out of control in just under 30 seconds to a fully involved structure fire. In those 30 seconds, temperatures can reach upwards of 600 degrees. That can burn the airway all the way down to the lungs and melt your clothes to your skin. This is a serious problem. Not only is it easy to get distracted and pulled away from the stove, you might not be there in the first place. There's a security camera video of a dog jumping up on the stove and turning the stove on to see what was going on the counter. the entire house burned down. The solution is the Sentinel. The Sentinel is your automatic stovetop fire suppression system.
The Sentinel is an automated fire suppression unit that can sit on your countertop next to the stove. The Sentinel also doubles as a kitchen utensil holder, which makes space of that extra room on your countertop. Now, the Sentinel is operated by an Arduino-based control system, which is constantly scanning its environment for a fire threat. And if the device is activated, up to 24 ounces of a baking soda fire suppressant will be released onto your stovetop, smothering the flames. Now, here's how it works. As I noted, the Sentinel uses baking soda as its fire suppressant, which has the advantages of being cheap and easily accessible, as well as non-toxic and super easy to clean up, unlike other fire extinguishers. Now, the device uses a smoke and an infrared flame sensor to detect fire, and when both of those are activated simultaneously, our baking soda suppressant will be dropped into an exit chamber where it's expelled out the front by a brushless motor and propeller. The Sentinel is also equipped with an alarm to alert you if a fire is detected. Now, the Sentinel initially started in 2022 as an engineering, technology, and design project in high school. Since then, we've improved it and iterated it into the Sentinel you see here, and we've also seen great success with the engineering organization Skills USA. We won the state championships back-to-back and advanced to the national championship in Atlanta last year and won that as well. As far as where we are with the prototype now, not only do we have a fully functional working prototype, but we also have this provisionally patented, and the utility patent is pending as well.
So who are we trying to sell this to? Well, as Will mentioned, distractions can cause a lot of these fires, and who's getting distracted more while cooking than parents? Parents have children to deal with, and if you're home alone cooking and you have a bunch of children running around, at a moment's notice, you could be dealing with something that you have to run away from the stove, and that can cause a fire. So we think this product could very help parents prevent fires. We also think the elderly who can struggle with memory and reaction times, a distraction for them can be way worse than a distraction for one of us and lead to a fire. And of course, amateur chefs who are still learning, they may cause a fire, they're gonna have mistakes. This can be a great safety net for them. So where and how are we gonna sell this? We'll start with social media because that can reach younger parents and amateur chefs. We can collaborate with people in the cooking space already to get the product out there. We also want to move to television channels, so it's just like ads on your TV, or QVC, which will help reach older markets. Where we want to sell this, we need to start a website and put this on Amazon as well. And as we get more established, we can move to stores like Walmart and Home Goods, so the older customers who may not want to order online can go to the store themselves. So competition. There's a few competitors out there, but the biggest one is Firestop. But we think our product has several key advantages over Firestop. The main one being theirs is one-time use. So once that's used, you have to go out and buy another one. And they can get relatively pricey. They're around $60 for a pair, but you need one Firestop per burner. So you're looking at like $120 to cover your whole stove, whereas ours is about $70 where we're aiming, and you can just refill with baking soda after it has been used. It doesn't work necessarily for everyone, as it is magnetic, and not everything in this world is magnetic, so you may even have to drill into your vent hood to install this, where ours just goes right on your counter, and ours is multi-purposed, so you can, stop. We have a lot more going on for this, but for time, we're gonna have to stop here. Thank you for listening to us.
Get this microphone go. Can you guys hear me? All right, good. Well done. First of all, I can tell you guys put a lot of time into it. I like actually seeing it. I like that it does double as something that holds utensils, because this just sitting on your stove, I don't know if it would be the most aesthetically pleasing. This is in my wheelhouse. We focused on consumer products, so I could sit here and probably 30 minutes ask you questions, but I don't have that. I'm just going to wait until someone holds up a sign and tells me to stop talking. But a few quick questions. So what are your COGS, your cost of goods?
So our costs are just under $40.
Okay, well, I heard these awards that you've won, and you've continued to iterate and improve the product. Why MVP? Have you launched anything?
We haven't launched anything officially yet. We're still kind of in the prototyping phase, but we're continuing to advance it. We're looking at potentially in the future integrating maybe a home assistant device into the Sentinel for smarter control and more user friendliness, as well as a long-term goal would be to integrate it directly into kitchen appliances such as your stove so that you can have your Sentinel there on guard without even having to think about it.
Does your patent application cover that?
We will be working on that.
So no. That's okay. No, I'm just asking. And
Yeah,
the
not-
thing is,
not quite yet.
You can always file additional patents, so I was just wondering if your current application covered that. So what market research have you done to validate your product? Besides competitors, surveys, focus groups, do you know what people are willing to pay for this? Talk to me about what you've done in that area.
Yeah, so we did a couple surveys at, we went to Delaware Career Center over in Columbus, and we did a few surveys on kind of what people are looking for, and surprisingly, safety was pretty low. They want it to be aesthetically pleasing. So we really honed in on like the design aspect, and they also don't like a lot of people use mason jars, so that's why we want the spoons and stuff to be able to fit in there. We don't have a picture of it, but with our competition, the Fire Stop, it looks like a tuna can, just like dangling from your stove. So we really wanted to, I guess, make it more aesthetically pleasing. Down the road, we want to make more shell colors and stuff like that. So.
Gotcha. Okay, your $40 COGS, is that you making it yourself? Like, I mean, I think that's 3D printed, right?
Yeah, so the $40, this prototype costs a little bit more than that, but the $40 would be injection molded and then with a custom PCB board.
In China?
What was that?
In China?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not, it surprised me. And then the last question I think I have is, you mentioned smoke, infrared. I'll have a comment following that, but is that going to be built in, like the alarm sensor, or are you considering building an app into it? What are your...
Yeah, we'd absolutely be interested in incorporating an app into it. I think especially with the home assistant device idea there, having smartphone connectivity would be great. You could monitor, different statistics about your kitchen. Your smartphone could give you alerts if something were to go wrong. It could even get to the point where if you're not home at all and a fire emergency were to happen, the device could confirm that fire and maybe even send a call to your local fire department and save your house altogether if something got out of control.
Perfect. I know I'm running out of time, so the last thing, it's not a question, but my advice would be get to know your consumers, because when Jeff Bezos, any interview he ever does, he talks about how at every meeting he has, he leaves one seat open at the boardroom table, and that's representative of the customer. Everything you're doing is for the customer. It's not for you, it's for the customer. And so understanding what they're going to be receptive to, you guys are kind of already building that roadmap. Start with an MVP. Get your brand out there, get a customer base, get some reviews, because then once you start to sell, you already have that brand recognition, that brand equity that you can start to leverage. So just get in there and start selling this thing, all right? Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing so much legwork on this thing, and that you're passionate about it, and your credibility as a firefighter is a wonderful thing, and thank you. That's right. It's just that it's real. I think you did a really nice job of clearly stating the problem with tangible data that's relatable. One thing I would ask you to do is take your punchline at the end that we ran out of time and didn't get to see. The AI image didn't make a whole lot of sense compared to watching the thing actually extinguish a fire, right? So if you're able to say, we have a solution and it already works, I think I probably would have started there. So coming from an industrial design standpoint, that thing is hideous. So what I want to tell you is you've got to have a designer touch this thing if you want somebody to put it on the kitchen counter as visible as you're proposing it to be. There's people that are spending thousands of dollars on their stoves and their kitchens. They're not putting that on the counter. So to Scott's point, get in touch with that consumer and find out what they want it to look like. Right, and I love the integration piece. I think I'd go in under a white flag to Whirlpool or Kenmore or a place like that and say, hey, let's talk. So, all right, great job, guys, and love seeing this prototype.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Do I have any time?
You know what? It's okay. Scott can go on a little while. You can have a little bit. It's your first time here. Listen.
I am sitting next to your product. Right, this isn't imagination. This is your product.
Yes, sir.
Can we give them 5 claps on 3? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The only thing I would say is getting to know your consumer is so important, because my advice was kind of the opposite of his, where if you go the assisted living route and partnerships there, where people want the freedom to live and be as much as they can as elderly. So the whole thing is setting it up so this can happen. And when you take your validity as a firefighter and you say that there are 470 deaths a year, how many would be here if you didn't have this Sentinel? Like, the leverage is so powerful when you go to people that need it and want to still be able to cook, right? And then you can really dig into the ethos, and the partnership will give you the background, the information to expand the market. But I would look into that angle first. Thank you. I'm out of time.
Great. Thank you.
No disrespect to you, Scott. We love having you here. No problem. It's so easy to get caught up in hearing these students pitch. They're so passionate about what they do, but it can be very, very easy to get caught in the present. So let's hear from somebody who not only did the pitch and won, but to this day continues to develop his product. Please help me welcome to the stage previous pitch winner. Come on up, Aaron.
Thank you. I would like to clarify, I placed second, but still a great opportunity. So as stated before, my name is Aaron Perry. I'm the founder of Ultralight Running. And so just to kind of clarify, an ultra marathon is any distance longer than 26.2 miles, so a marathon. So that's kind of like my sport. I love running longer than marathons and doing endurance-based sports. So I created this business out of a passion for that. And so last year, when I was in the pitch, I pitched the Endurance Hat 1.0, or just the Endurance Hat. Now, since through the help of the pitch, Carrie Oberbrunner, as well as Cedarville University, I'm happy to announce the Endurance Hat 2.0. So a little bit more about kind of my story. Like I said, I'm in this, this community of endurance sports runners, and when you go those distances, the quality of gear that you have to have is exponential. You have to be able to run 100 miles and have the clothes on your body withstand that and maintain that level of comfortability. And so that's why I created this company, was to provide gear and to provide resources for those ultra marathon runners as well as endurance sports people to have that gear. And so on the right side here, that QR code, that's the link to my website. So if you'd like to pre-order the Endurance Hat, you can, but something that I'd like to provide for you guys completely free is just a newsletter. So a big thing about endurance sports is the motivation and really the mindset associated with it. So a lot of times when you're going those 60 to 100 miles, you're out there for probably around 30 hours of just running straight. And so this newsletter that I send out each week is really about that mindset and more the philosophy behind running. And so that's something that y'all can sign up for. You just scroll to the very bottom of that page and you can sign up just with your email. And then on the right side is the Ultralight Running Instagram. And so I just recently posted, like within the last hour. So if you'd like to be entered into a drawing for an Endurance Hat when it does come out, just like that post, share it, and then follow the account, and you'll be entered completely free. And then last, but certainly not least, I'd like to actually give an Endurance Hat to you guys here today. So would Emma Bergeron come down? Is she here, Emma? No? Is that you? Sweet. So like I said, the hat isn't out, but when it does, you'll get a free one. This is just a voucher, so like you could actually go on and just put it in the checkout, and you'll get a free hat. So there you go. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
That is why he plays, folks. You cannot manufacture that charisma. You cannot build that passion unless you mean it. Let's carry that passion into our fourth and final pitcher tonight. Tonight we have a sophomore marketing major who reimagines the world of embroidery through his detailed, handcrafted pieces. Timmy Goodman, come on up here.
Thank you, everybody. I talked to Dr. Oberbrunner about getting a lift and lifting me up when she announced my name, but that wasn't in the budget. Hello, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Timmy Goodman, and like Aubrey said, I'm a sophomore marketing major here at Cedarville University. And before I begin, I would love to thank you guys for this opportunity to come and show you my business and give you my pitch presentation. This is Bluegrass Threads. I've been embroidering for about a couple years now, and I started a few summers ago when I finished my junior year of high school. I learned that I love embroidery, and that there is definitely an untapped market when it comes to embroidery in today's world. I am an embroiderer who helps individuals express themselves through unique embroidered pieces. The way my business works is I get specific orders from my customer, and I work directly one-on-one with my customers to understand the full extent of what they want. I take great pride in everything that I do because I understand that most of my orders are sentimental things. Right now, with my business, I'm selling most of my products online through Instagram, and I have my products for sale in a few physical stores. This is working really well for me right now, but this is not scalable, and I do have plans to grow this in the future. All of my orders are priced off 3 criteria: size, design complexity, and production time. We'll use these 2 examples in the right. This blue Kentucky one at the bottom, I have to reference, I'm from Kentucky. The blue Kentucky one, it's in a 5-inch embroidery hoop. It took me about an hour and a half to complete, and the design on it is pretty minimum. I charge my customer $15 for this embroidery. We'll look at the family name in the top right. This is in a 12-inch embroidery hoop. It took me upwards of 20 hours to do, and there's a lot of detail packed into this embroidery. I charge my customer $150 for this embroidery. Now looking at my COGS, or my cost of goods sold, I have 3 raw materials that all of my embroidery products require. And that's my thread, my fabric, and my hoops. For my more general embroideries like my Kentucky one, my cost of goods sold is $5.18. For my more complex embroideries like the family name, it's $14.72. I tell you that this to say I have very healthy margins. For my general size embroideries, my margins are about 65%, and for my more complex ones, they're at 90%. It's very important to me as a business owner to see these healthy margins and recognize that I'm operating in a good place within my business. My biggest competitor right now is Etsy. If you don't know, Etsy is an online retailer where people can go and sell their handcrafted pieces. The problem with Etsy is that the things being sold on this website has gone down drastically in the last few years. The introduction of things like Shein or Temu, the things being sold on Etsy do not reflect what Etsy set out to be. My next biggest competitor is kind of broad, but it's like that for a reason. It's DIY kits in general. The reason they're on my list is because there's something I don't offer. DIY kits require people to have the previous knowledge and skill to embroider, and I would say the bulk of my customers come to me without that skill. They just want the desired product. Now you guys are all probably thinking, dude, you are not the first person to embroider, and you are definitely not the first person to run an embroidery business like this. And I would say, yeah, that's 100% true. But where Bluegrass Threads is different is I am tapping into specific niches. We're learning a lot about each other, and one thing about me is I love country music. In that realm of country music, I love Dolly Parton. Now, I have a meme page on Instagram that is centered around my love for country music and Dolly Parton. I have over 22,000 followers. I've reached over 3 million accounts in the last 30 days. 12 of my videos have reached and exceeded the million views threshold, and I've had celebrities like Sabrina Carpenter, Christian Chenoweth, and Shania Twain like and reshare my posts. Knowing my love for Dolly, I've embroidered her a few times, and so what I would do is post my Dolly embroideries and share it to my meme page. My Dolly Parton and country music fans flock to Bluegrass Threads, and my orders are constantly filled with these specific niche Dolly embroideries. If this is working so well with Dolly Parton right now, why can't I apply this to hundreds of other movies, TV shows, and iconic pop culture references in today's culture? The special thing about Bluegrass Threads, it is 100% scalable. I have this plan that's set out for about the next year, but as soon as this time next year, I will have to reevaluate how I'm planning my business. My first step, and hopefully the $1,000 pitch money would help me with this, I would love to buy an embroidery machine. It's no secret that hand embroidery not only takes a long time, but it's also pretty expensive. With this embroidery machine, I'll be able to heighten my sense of productivity and cut my prices. And now I know I just spent this whole speech talking about how I do specific handcrafted embroidery, and that would continue, but with the machine, it would become a tool for my business. And next would be a website. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm only selling on Instagram right now. This can't stay like that. With the website, I would be able to increase my sales and increase the people I'm reaching. Third step is to expand into more niches. With steps 1 and 2 in place, I would love to spend the time and the research expanding into what is hot and popular right now. My fourth step is kind of crazy for me to say because I would have never imagined my business would be where it's at right now. I would love to recruit somebody to help me. Bluegrass Threads has been proven to be successful for me, and I hope you guys will see its potential. Thank you.
My man, solid. You had me a Dolly Parton. And I'm not even like just beautifully done. And what I thought was so powerful is Well, let me just say this because I know I may end up running over time. And when I look for it, I'll use myself as an example, right? I am not the best entrepreneur up here. And my business model, my entrepreneurship is service, like my speaking. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, I'm a good entrepreneur. I'm great at explaining it. And that's my business model. So you can be really good at embroidering, but you have a whole pool of people watching, wishing, I want to embroider too. And handcrafted is not the same as a DIY kit. And you have the personality, the energy. So my mind went to a whole nother lane of like Zoom and online classes where you're teaching people to embroider and making their own Dolly Parton. And when it doesn't turn out like how you make it, you can buy one, right? So it's like this whole lane that's created for you as well that I thought was very powerful. Like even just this just makes so much sense for you, right? I love the practicality of it. I feel like, okay, now I'm back in the room, right? It makes sense. The money makes sense. It's almost like dial it back. You just can't say give it to them, but it makes sense, right? So I appreciate it. And appreciate how much of it is you, right? It's you. And Scott said it earlier where he was asking a question, what's more important for an entrepreneur, a passion or a plan? And he said passion, right? The plan's important, but as you get different help, the plan will change. The passion is where you find a way to get to the destination. And I just see you and I'm like, he's gonna get there. So well done.
That's some pretty sloppy clapping. Are you going to tolerate that? Come on.
5 claps on 3. 5 claps on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
There we go. I feel better. Okay, you pushed like a lot of my buttons. As soon as I heard the word bluegrass, it's my absolute favorite kind of music. I grew up in a household we were allowed to listen to both kinds of music, country and western, and that was it. So you hit me there. You did bury the lead a little bit, right? You buried the lead in that you're passionate about country music, and you're passionate about your home state of Kentucky, and you're passionate enough that people are tuning in. You're an influencer. You've got an audience. What I love is that you're servicing a demand versus trying to create a demand. You are responding to a demand. I have a good friend of mine, it's a much better entrepreneur than I am. He's agnostic about the product. He doesn't care. If someone's looking for it, he's going to go find it and sell it to them. What you've done is you've stumbled on something that you enjoy, and you've put together a win-win-win because you're doing country music, you're doing embroidery, right? And you're getting to be an entrepreneur, and it's now starting to make money for you. How cool is that, right? That's what this is all about. That's what this thing's all about. So you can lead off with that up front. There might be some licensing things here, but we're just going to ignore that for right now, right?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's forget about that. They were specifically vague. Right, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I really like the whole vibe of it because it's unique, right? And handcrafted matters because there's digital everything. The thing that came out of digital music in the 1980s were the unplugged acoustic 90s. Everybody went back and bought acoustic guitars and old Stratocasters and old Les Pauls and had grungy music because we had synthesizers in the 80s. It's the same thing that handcrafted notes now have because of texts and email, right? And I think that's what you're doing, right? So congratulations. Thank you.
Great presentation, super charismatic. You explained everything extremely well. I view, and I think Tunji put it perfectly, this is you, right? And that's what I love about it. I don't think anybody else could do what you're doing, and that makes it unique, and that's great. So it's almost more of an art than it is a science, right? And you found a need and something you're passionate about. The roadmap side, when you're starting to scale, you need to be working on the business, not in the business. Figure out what the people want as the next design, so you can cater to different markets. Nothing really proprietary, but people are going to buy into you because of your passion for what you're doing. So your margins are fantastic. Digital marketing, you can afford to outsource the production of this. You've got the margins for that. So I'm impressed. It's there's nothing, again, proprietary about it except for you. You're proprietary. So well done.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
It's me again, guys. I'm here to talk to you about the pitch for next spring. I know you're all probably like, we're just having one now, but if you want to be up here and do this, and if you have an idea that you're just ready to move forward with, I encourage you to sign up for the next pitch. We've got people that will come alongside you and help you grow and develop your idea. It will be February 7th. The other thing I have is beats, which I forgot to bring up here with me. This is the last giveaway of the night. And we picked this from somebody who was following our Instagram, Ashley Henel, if I pronounce that right. I hope this makes your day. And that's all I have for you today.
Ashley, that was a happy face. That was really, I'd be happy too. We have a lot of tough choices tonight, folks, 4 incredible pitches. And could we just have a super cool can for all of our pitchers tonight? That was amazing. Gentlemen, you have some hard choices to make tonight. Go on ahead and exit the atrium. You have 10 minutes to deliberate. And in the meantime, we have one more speaker this evening, and he has a gift for us. And I'm not talking about an exam. A couple of our business students here may have put that little joke together. Please help me welcome to the stage a campus favorite, Dr. Daryl Smith.
Well, good evening. Thanks for coming out tonight. Again, my name's Daryl Smith. For those who don't know me, I'm a professor here at Cedarville University. I want to talk to you a little bit about an idea I've shared on previous broadcast, if you've tuned in. And it's the idea of who is the ultimate entrepreneur? I would suggest that it's God. What is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who solves problems. Sometimes they solve problems we don't even know we have. I gave the example in the past of cell phones. Nobody was walking around 30 years ago going, I wish I could have a phone that didn't have a cord in it. Now, what would we do without our cell phones, right? Entrepreneurs sometimes use novel means to solve problems. Sometimes we don't even know we have them. I'm a professor. What do professors like to do? Ask questions, right? So I have a question for you tonight. Do you consider yourself a good person? All right. So I'm going to let you mull that over a little bit while I tell you a story about an entrepreneur. Actually, my entrepreneur has a name, but I'm going to call him Bud. It's not his real name. But I was stunned when I heard a reference to this earlier tonight, a connection. My friend Bud loved to eat fast food. Specifically, he liked burgers and fries. So he would frequent burgers establishments, and one night he went in to grab a burger, and the restaurant folks were just kind of beside themselves, and he's like, what's wrong? And they said, we don't know what to do with our cooking oil. He's like, what are you talking about? They said, well, we make fries, and when you fry fries, the oil eventually gets dirty. He goes, well, what have you done with it in the past? They said, we just dumped it out. But now they've told us we can't dump out the dirty oil because it's bad for the environment, so we have no idea what to do with it. So like a good entrepreneur, Bud went home and he thought about it. He did some research, scratched his head. He came up with a solution. He went back to the folks. He said, how would you like me to take your dirty cooking oil off your hands? They said, we'd love it. Would you pay me to do it? We'd gladly pay you to do it. They negotiated a price. They were happy. Bud was happy. Bud began to do that for multiple restaurants. He built a facility, and he took that dirty cooking oil and made biodiesel that he sold to customers that was good for the environment. What a solution. He's getting paid to take the raw materials and turn them into something that he's getting paid for again. A great entrepreneurial solution. All right? Loves French fries, uses the cooking oil, And I want us to focus for a minute on the oil itself. And like, what do you mean? I want to suggest to you that the cooking oil could do nothing to clean itself. It took an outside agent. It took Bud to clean it up. And may I suggest that you and I are like cooking oil. We're dirty. And it requires an outside agent to clean us up. Now you think, well, I'm not that dirty. I'm not that bad a person. One thing the Bible can do for us is the Bible's like a school teacher. School teachers show us what we don't know, and they help us learn what we do need to know. The Bible has a little test to tell us how good we are. We might have heard of it. It's called the 10 Commandments. Let's just look at a few of them real quick. Commandment 1, you will have no other gods before me. Have you ever put anything before God? Commandment 2, you will make no image and bow down and serve it. Now, I don't know many people that are carving idols nowadays, but I know some guys who worship their sports cars. I've seen some beautiful Corvettes, and I've seen guys drooling all over them. I know some women who worship their cell phone. They don't want to be detached from it. Okay? Commandment 4, you'll take a Sabbath rest. Have you ever gone 7 days without taking a rest? Commandment 9, you will not lie. Have you ever told a lie? I don't know about you folks, but I'm 0 for 4 right now, okay? And the last I calculated, that's a failing grade, right? Jesus gave us an interesting test. He was asked once, what's the greatest commandment? Jesus said the greatest commandment was to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. He said this is the great and first commandment. Have I ever failed to love God with all my heart? If you did that just once a week, and I think I probably do it daily, if you did that once a week for 30 years, you would have broken the greatest commandment 1,560 times. I had to throw that in. I teach stats, okay? Can you imagine standing in front of God saying, I'm a good person. I only broke the greatest commandment 1,560 times. I got a friend, and I actually respect this friend, but he said something recently. He said, my God's not a judge. Well, I'm not sure what God he's referring to, because the God of the Bible declares that he himself is a judge and that he will judge all the earth someday. And the good news is he's a righteous judge. We don't like corrupt politicians, right? We don't like corrupt judges, people that don't punish wrongdoers. God said he is a righteous judge. So 2 things we should realize at this point. We're probably in a worse position than we realized. And secondly, God does not grade on a curve. I went to a little school in the Colorado Mountains called the Air Force Academy. And I took chemistry there. And let's just say I was nowhere near 100% on the exams. But that didn't bother me, because I just had to be better than the guy next to me, because they graded chemistry on a curve. As long as you were at the mean or above or a little below the mean, you passed. So all I cared about is being the mean. God doesn't grade us on a curve. When we stand before him, we can't say, I'm innocent. I only broke the greatest commandment 1,000 times, and this other guy broke it 2,000 times. We're both guilty. Okay? We're in a bad situation. Right? God is perfectly just, more than we can imagine. The Bible tells us the payment, their wages for our sin is death. We deserve death. We deserve separation from God because of our rebellion, because of our dirtiness. We deserve separation in hell, to be honest, and I know that's hard to hear, but that's what we deserve. But there's some good news. God is not only just, but he is love. God loves us more than we can imagine. Most famous verse in the Bible, for God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. So, How does God reconcile the fact that he's just? He can't let wrongdoing go unpunished, or he would be corrupt. And yet he has such great love for the human beings that he created. This is how he reconciled it. That's God himself with flesh and blood, dying. Why would God die? Because he's just. Someone has to pay for our sin. He paid it himself. Try to wrap your mind around that. God paid our punishment. It's amazing. So and I'm not trying to be flippant, but let me go back to this cooking oil, right? An outside agent had to turn this dirty cooking oil into something useful. An outside agent, God, has to clean our dirty sin and make us forgiven and clean. So how do we get that forgiveness? Well, folks, let me tell you, it takes some action. Actually, it takes a response on our part for it to apply. If you get invited to an event, you need to RSVP. How do we RSVP to God's invitation? I call it the ABCs. First of all, you need to admit that you're sinful. I need to own up to my dirtiness, that I am dirty cooking oil. Right? I think we showed that pretty clearly when we went through the school teacher commandments, right? B, believe that Jesus Christ died to pay your sins, pay the penalty for your sins. The Bible says God shows his love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Folks, don't lose that. God paid our penalty. And then C, confess and commit. We got to turn from following ourselves, ask God to forgive us, tell him we're sorry, we ask his forgiveness, and turn our lives over to him. Let him be the boss, the Lord of our lives. The Bible says if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. So, God is the ultimate entrepreneur. He has a novel solution for our deepest problem. Folks, in America, things are not looking really good right now. Suicide, particularly among my age group, among men, is growing steadily. And I think it's because men are looking around going, is this all there is? And they know somehow there's something wrong. And what's wrong is our sin. And God offers the solution for that. So my question for you, are you going to RSVP and take God's forgiveness, or will you ignore it? If you're ready to take it this evening, all you need to do is pray to the Lord and say, God, I'm sorry. I admit I'm a sinner. I believe you died for me. Would you please forgive me and be the boss, the Lord of my life? And if you do, you will find the cleansing and the love and the forgiveness and the peace that we all so desperately want. Thank you for your attention tonight. Our judges should be back here any moment with the decision, and I'm going to turn it back over to our Master of Ceremony, Aubrey. Thank you very much.
Well, Master of Ceremony. I like that. I'm going to have to put that on my LinkedIn. All right, we're just waiting a few minutes for the judges. So, is Dr. KO up there? All right, why don't y'all enjoy this silence and meditate in it with me? Everybody breathe in for 3. Then out for 3. Just take a minute to calm down in this hurricane. So, what do we think of this new business building? I agree. I think that the microphones could be a little bit better, but that's just me being picky.
I have a question for you, Aubrey.
Well, I have an answer for you, Dr. Smith.
Why don't we have the audience turn to their neighbor and explain who they think should win?
Ooh, controversial. I'm into it.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn.
Contestants, just plug your ears. Y'all don't need to hear this. All right, seems like a very polarizing topic in here. I can understand. Thank you, Dr. Smith. There is a improv group on campus. It's called IO. I'm not part of it. I don't think I've ever made eye contact with anybody on that team. I should think that that's become pretty obvious. All right, folks. So earlier today, I said that the first place winner would walk away with a $1,000 prize. And historically, that's been true. But it takes a lot of courage and time and energy invested not only into the pitch, but to get in front of the student body and in front of a live stream. It's a very vulnerable thing. Last semester, one gentleman, an anonymous donor, was inspired by this courage, and he donated $1,000 to the pitch competition. It is thanks to this generosity that today we are offering everybody gets a cash prize today for participating. Third and fourth gets $250 today. Second place gets $750, and the first place winner today will walk away with $1,250 to put towards their entrepreneurial idea. But before that, because our contestants haven't been through enough, Dr. KO, I think that there's another slide that we want to put up here. Very nice. So everybody in this crowd gets an opportunity to be a part of this, but one of our hosts, you know what? I think I'll just let you tell him. Yeah, you might need to use my lucky one again.
Testing? All right, good. So the company that God has blessed me and my partner to run is Ideal Strategic Partners. We take our partners through from idea on a napkin to commercialization, and the process we use is called Idea Path. So we get hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 inquiries and applications a month, and we select one, sometimes two to partner with. So there's a huge gap of people that have great ideas and they just don't know what to do. So it's a data-driven, disciplined process. We spent 2 years in development, 10 hours of video content. There's a 160-page workbook. It talks about SWOT analysis and all the components for market research and branding exercises and how to find the right engineer and sourcing manufacturing if it's product-based or developers, all the way into market launch. So it's a really extensive course. We released it last month. We are going to be giving each of the contestants a free license for that. And then it's a $999 course. And so for anyone that is either watching on the live stream or here in attendance, we're giving 90% off, so $99 for the course. At the end of the course, you have the opportunity to pitch to our executive team for $50,000 toward a partnership. So wanted to contribute that on behalf of our organization. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the order of tonight's pitch competition. In fourth place, winning $250, we have the experienced team. Excellent job, gentlemen. And then, coming in third place, also winning $250, the Sentinel team. And then, in second place, winning $750, we have Timmy Goodman, which means that in first place, winning $1,250, Daniel Ormsby. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming. Thank you to the judges for giving us their time, their energy, and their incredible advice. Thank you to every hand that's touched the pitch competition to allow it to become a reality. Thank you for the contestants, and thank you for all of you. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you so much.